I was born in the shadow of a fair field crane, and the blast of a freighter's horn was the very first sound that reached my ears on the morning I was born.
The great thing about Govan is its pride. It's full of life and vitality, springing from the shipyards. But my father didn't want my brother and me to go into the yards, funnily enough. He wanted us to do something else, like engineering or whatever. But my only hope was to be a player.
Or you join the parish queue, and times got harder day by day along the riverside, and I've often heard my mother say it was tears that made the Clyde.
I made a decision to start my career with Queen's Park. They had a great reputation at that time of producing players to become professionals. And I took that step, and I enjoyed my time there as an amateur. I made then a decision maybe now, looking back, I would not have made it again, going to St Johnstone, which really was a great spell for me because I was part-time at the football. And part-time at the football was also part-time in thought. My whole attention was to football. And I had a different outlook in life at that particular period as a player.
There was a reserve match against Rangers, and they used a bit of a cold as an excuse for ducking out, because we'd had some hammers of reserves at that time. Until my father heard about it, he went crazy. I was a disgrace to football. I was this, I was that, he called me everything. He then sent me off to phone the manager, and he laid into me as well. The upshot was I played and scored a hat-trick and never looked back. Getting the transfer to Dunfermline was the thing. I just finished my apprenticeship as a toolmaker and was earning £27 a week and another £16 as a part-time with the club. But I decided to go full-time. Despite a drop of £15, the desire was there. I was determined to work at the game. Willie Cunningham gave me a great opportunity.
Alec attracted me as a player simply because he could score goals. He had that potential to be in the right place at the right time. He didn't care how he got there.
We had a sort of a love-hate relationship. I mean, he really liked me, but we had so many arguments. It was incredible. But it was also a great respect. I appreciate everything he did for me.
He was always probing me, any decision I had made, or the way I wanted the team to play, or the way I wanted him to play. And many's an argument we had about this. But it all ended up amicably. We were still very good friends through it all.
As a player, I started to do something. I got a Scottish League cap. I went on a Far East tour with the Scotland team. The papers were mentioning the interests of such clubs as Newcastle, Notts Forest, Leicester and Chelsea. But the chance came to move to Rangers, and I just couldn't turn that down.
Here's Hine to Henderson, to Johnston. Ferguson's a goal!
When I did get to Ibrox, Scott Simon had taken over as manager, and he was awesome. When he walked in the dressing room each morning, the talking stopped. He had such a great presence. We'd never see his like again, because the game has changed. But I do believe that the sacking of Scott Simon took away the greatness from me. I wish that more of my players would prepare themselves to be managers, you know. I made up my mind early. When I got married, I didn't go on honeymoon. I went to the coaching school to get my badge.
That really was the start of the friendship with myself and Alec. And at that time, all I knew about him was his elbows, because when we played against him, that's the only thing he knew. But from then on, we've kept close contact, and in the beginning, he got quite a few answers from looking over my shoulder in the exam paper, so I would say that it's probably my fault that he passed.
I was offered the Aberdeen job when Alan McLeod left to manage Scotland, but then I said that I was trying to build St into another Aberdeen. It wasn't until I came to Pittodrie that I realised it was impossible to make St Mirren or any other club another Aberdeen. Aberdeen is special, it's got greatness. My first season at Pittodrie was terrible for me. It couldn't end soon enough. But then I decided to stop worrying about my predecessors and their past records and all the rest of it and be myself. I'd inherited a good team and I built considerable in that. There were changes, but whatever a newly appointed manager might say when he arrives about no changes and the like, there has to be.
When he first came to Pittodrie, we had a few run-ins at half-time, simply because it was very emotional for him. He came in at half-time and he started going through all the players, and when it came to me, I reacted a wee bit like himself. But I think we've got used to each other now, and he still reacts quite violently as when we're not doing well. But in the same token, if we're doing well, he comes in and he has a nice wee chat to you and everything's nice and civilised. But if we go and we're 2-1 down, then he's not too happy, and it does get a bit boisterous.
I believe he was a bit of a hard-case type centre-forward, you know, scored a few goals and rumble him up. But I think his attitude as a player is carried into management, because I think he's a hard manager.
I've only bought 10 players during my 7 years at Aberdeen, and I've sold 25. By any stretch of the imagination, that's not bad in a club this size.
Good try, Sid. Sid, don't be afraid to use the player in the byline. Run at him and you can still look for your pass.
I'm a firm believer in a youth policy. If they're good enough, they're old enough, no matter what the age. John Hewitt made his debut at 16. Neil Cooper made his in the European Cup against Liverpool at 16. Eric Black was 17. I say to the young players when they arrive at Pittodrie, think of McLeish and Miller, Leighton, McMaster, Cooper, Simpson, Black, all produced by the club and all internationalists. It's magnificent.
He's known as a good motivator, and there's no doubt about that. That's definitely a strong part of his job. I mean, his knowledge of the game is great, but his motivation is tremendous.
In and away. Okay, protect the end. Next second ball. In you come, John. Well done, Sid. Have a hit, Frank.
I tell the parents of young players, look, I'm not guaranteed that I'll make them world beaters like Strachan or McLeish or the like. But what I will do will be worthwhile. We'll try to give them good disciplines. We'll try to encourage ambition and foster their hope.
He gives players good habits. From an early age, young players will learn good habits that will carry on through the rest of their career. I know that I'm at Manchester United just now, and I hope I've learned a lot of good things from him.
I see good discipline in Dundee United because I know the manager down there thinks as I do. The player's got to be made to keep his feet in the ground.
Discipline is vitally important in any sphere of life, I think. But I also think that it's a wee bit difficult at times with the youth that's coming into the game and the attitudes of some of the younger players to keep their feet on the ground.
Success changes some of them, the media changes them, and agents and all the other hanger-ons, unless we can instill reality into their thinking.
I remember once there was a young boy at Pittodrie. I'll leave his name out because he might get embarrassed. But the boss had put a ban on anybody getting their hair permed.